Hello and welcome once again everyone. Today I'm going to take a look at the brand new British Premium Tier 6 Heavy Cruiser HMS London. I've just unlocked the London by completing the 4 directives in the second part of the British Cruisers event. If you happen to miss this event or were unable to complete it, the HMS London is still available in the premium shop. If you wish to jump straight to the build section, I've included the complete setup including ship upgrades and captain skills after the main review and highlights, with the timestamp here on screen for your convenience. If you like this video and find it helpful, make sure to like and subscribe so you can easily find my channel again and keep up to date with new content and all things World of Warships. Clicking that thumbs up button and leaving a question or comment really helps me gauge the popularity of these videos, so it's greatly appreciated. This is my very first game in the London, but I must admit to having the experience of playing the complete British heavy cruiser line, right up to and including the Tier 10 Goliath. Those of you already familiar with my channel will know I posted videos on the Devonshire, Surrey, and most recently the Tier 8 Albemarle. If you happen to miss them, I've added some links in the top right, along with links to the complete playlist at the end of the video. HMS London stands out immediately for having a unique combination of consumables at her disposal for a heavy cruiser. With the enemy Fubuki ahead and being spotted by the enemy carrier, I activate my hydro and smokescreen after attracting the ire of the enemy team. What's worth paying attention to here is I'm immediately detected after firing my front guns at the Pensacola. Having such a high caliber main battery of 203mm means London has a very high smoke firing penalty. Any ship within 6.8 kilometers and direct line of sight will detect you when firing, so range control is of paramount importance when deploying smoke and will determine whether you can fire undetected or not. London has the same hydroacoustic search as high-tier British destroyers, with reduced range but extended 3-minute duration, and this works very well in tandem with the smoke generator. London's repair party, just like the hydroacoustic search, works in a similar fashion to high-tier British destroyers. Short 10-second bursts of hit point restoration, repairing a maximum of 346 HP per second. If you compare this directly with its same tier Tech Tree compatriot, the Devonshire, which heals albeit a little slower, but heals almost 30% more HP. Add in the fact you get one less charge with the London, means a significant difference in the amount of damage one can actually repair in the London compared to the Devonshire. The smoke generator, however, greatly offsets this disparity in repair capacity by greatly reducing the amount of damage one takes by being able to break line of sight and getting undetected. All in all, this mix of consumables, while not feeling too overpowered, when used correctly, can give one an excellent platform to launch attacks from very strong positions, and that's where we come to the main guns. These 203mm guns vary considerably from its Tech Tree cousins, and not to be drawn into a game of constant comparisons, I do feel it's important to have an idea of context, especially for those who have already played some of the mid-tier heavy cruisers already. The sharp-eyed among you will notice I've been firing primarily armor-piercing at the cruisers manoeuvring in front of me, with mixed results so far. A couple of citadel penetrations here and there, but also quite a few ricochets on only slightly angled targets, even a ricochet on a Fubuki at one point. Again, compared directly with the Devonshire, and despite having the same shell type, Wargaming have increased the max AP damage per shell by 50, and reduced the max high explosive damage by 450, which is quite a lot, almost 14% less damage per HE shell. This is compounded by having a slower main gun reload time, albeit only a second at 15 seconds, and a shorter firing range of 13.4 kilometers, 600 meters less than the Devonshire. I'm never really quite a fan of seeing inconsistencies like this, for the sake of what I'm guessing are balancing reasons. The London is a premium ship, and I expect the guns to perform hopefully a little better, but at least the very same as the Tech 3 ships. It's not all doom and gloom, however. The gun ballistics seem a little better, with an increased shell speed of 855 meters per second for both shell types, so landing shells on target will seem a little easier. When it comes to mobility again, the London can feel a little sluggish. Despite the 1 knot increase in base speed compared to the Devonshire, these smokescreens are torpedo magnets, and it's the main reason I've gone for the propulsion mod instead of steering gears. Having that ability to pick up speed quickly, to actually be able to avoid incoming torps when spotted, is very, very helpful. Sure, you have to sacrifice a little regards rudder shift time, but I feel it's well worth it. A lot of London's gameplay will be using these smokescreens to apply pressure to the enemy team, using armor piercing when you get those flat broadsides. And I do stress flat broadsides, as the angles of penetration do seem to be a little lacking, and high explosive at everything else, all the while being careful to monitor your range from targets when firing. A mistake I made repeatedly in this game, but isn't that the best way sometimes to highlight one's own mistakes and learn from them? HMS London isn't exactly very stealthy. With a full stealth build, you can get its surface detection range down to 10.5 kilometers. But again, you always have this get out of jail free card with your smoke generator to bail you out of any tricky situation you might find yourself in. At this point in the review, one might be forgiven for thinking I'm being a little negative about the London, but I assure you to the contrary. While it may seem Wargaming have taken the Devonshire, simply renamed it and gone to work on it with a vengeance, with the Nerf hammer, leaving a lot of it on the cutting room floor, I do find myself leaning towards agreeing with the devs on this one. With the addition of the smokescreen, it makes it quite an easy ship for a novice player to pick up and start playing. But in the hands of an experienced player, HMS London becomes a very powerful ship indeed. So I expect HMS London to be quite a popular ship that appeals to all sorts of players, both novice and veterans. I honestly believe the devs were afraid of creating a different version of the HMS Belfast, which in the right hands is incredibly overpowered, and for that exact reason was removed from the premium store. It's still in game, but no longer for sale. As I stated earlier on in the video, this is footage from my very first game in the London. I'm guilty of being over-reliant on armor piercing in this match, simply due to the fact I wanted to thoroughly test the AP performance with the increased shell velocity in comparison to the rest of the Royal Navy line. There have already been numerous situations where high explosive was the better choice of armament, but my curiosity was piqued when examining the ship's stats on landing in my port. So we come to the most important question of all. Is the London a fun ship to play? Having played many thousands of games now in cruisers, I can really see the potential of the London to be extremely strong. I always tend to gauge how much I enjoy a ship by my own performance and my ability to carry games, even from difficult situations. So the answer is yes, I see this ship as being a lot of fun to play and one I will revisit often. There are still a few aspects of the London that deserve a mention in relation to its overall performance. Despite having the classification of heavy cruiser, HMS London is lightly armoured, but does have a relatively small citadel. However, same tier battleships can and will overmatch your bow and stern armour, A prime example was moments ago when the Queen Elizabeth simply citadeled me through the bow just after I smoked up. When operating from smoke, you should always keep moving to keep your opponent guessing, as sitting still is a big mistake. With that Queen Elizabeth going behind the island, I'm pushing up to attempt to get some torpedoes on target. In a trend similar to before, the torpedo range of London has been reduced to 7 kilometres, from 8 kilometres compared to Devonshire. But considering your preferred method of attack will be using islands for cover to make attack runs, as open water torpedo attacks are virtually suicidal, that 1 kilometre difference matters little. You might be wondering here why I didn't fire at that destroyer, and I encountered a slight bug in the game at this point. I was unable to fire my main guns at that Fubuki. The only way I was able to get my guns firing again was to fire those torps and then start firing again. So I have switched to high explosive here. That first salvo wasn't quite convincing. The second one gets the job done. I do expect that Fubuki has torped. It's time to recover some HP while undetected. So I'm using my repair party. Just going to activate Hydro. Sure enough, the Fubuki managed to get away one set before he died. You can simply just reverse here, slip in between them, and get moving forward once again. The Queen Elizabeth did manage to take out the Jaguar, so I'm faced with a little bit of an issue here. I'm 1v1 up against the British battleship, and that doesn't exactly leave me in a very strong position. I could smoke up, but then I'm left with no vision, so that's not an option. I'm switched to high explosive still. I am detected. There's Queen Elizabeth. Instantly kill my speed and turn away. Queen Elizabeth has fired. Does land a couple of shells, but they're mostly on my bow section, which would have resulted in overpens. I did set that Queen Elizabeth on fire with the first salvo. There's a second fire, then the Confederate achievement, and that Queen Elizabeth burns down. Very little else happened in the rest of this game. I hope you enjoyed the video. Not a bad little game for the first time out. 4 kills, 1600 base XP. Before going to the complete ship build, I've added some links, including the Help Me Discord and my own personal Discord in the description below. Now on to the build. Starting with the consumables, the only choice you have is to mount Premium, which will decrease the cooldown times of your damage control and add extra charges of Repair Party, Hydroacoustic Search and Smoke Generator. HMS London gets 4 ship upgrade slots, starting off with Main Armaments Mod 1, Damage Control Mod 1, Aiming Systems Mod 1, and in the final slot I prefer Propulsion Mod 1 over Steering Gears. Moving to the captain skills, being a premium ship means you can easily swap out captains from other British ships, and in this case I'm using my Goliath captain. So Priority Target, Preventive Maintenance, Expert Loader, Jack of all Trades, Expert Marksman, Adrenaline Rush, Superintendent, Demolition Expert, and Concealment Expert for a complete maxed out 19-point captain. So let's take a look at what this build means for the ship's final stats. For survivability, London gets 34,600 hit points, which is further enhanced by having 3 repair parties. Main artillery consists of 4 X2 203mm guns, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear, with 13.4 kilometers in range, with a reload speed of 15 seconds. HMS London gets 2 X4 torpedo launchers, 1 on each side, with 7 kilometers in range, a torpedo speed of 59 knots, and a reload time of 106 seconds. HMS London gets an AA defence rating of 45, with a long-range defence of 5.8 kilometers. For manoeuvrability, London gets a max base speed of 32.3 knots, a turning circle of 710 meters, and a rudder shift time of 7.8 seconds. Finally, HMS London has a concealment rating of 68, meaning you will be surface detected at 10.5 kilometers and by aircraft at 5.9 kilometers. I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.